Okay, so I said I'd give you some piano lessons. You say you want to learn how to play the piano. You know, the whole thing is you just got to practice, but here we go. I'm playing the blues because I know you don't want to hear no classical right at this point. You know, we can get into that later, but you want to jump out here. You know, people ain't boogieing too much classical, but yet some are. You know, but we'll start off with some just low down boogie stuff. You know, I don't know what to tell you right now. Okay, we're gonna edit all of this, but here we go. We're gonna start out with what they call a triad. You're gonna have to listen. It's not about looking all the time. Some people think that you can mathematically figure this stuff out. You can, but ultimately you're gonna have to use your ears. All right. We'll figure this as one. I'm sure you've heard of a scale. You know, and these scales have degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember that. So it's 1 to 8. We were dealing with 8 notes essentially. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's think in terms of 1, and then 3, and then 5. What they call that a triad, and that's the rudiment of the origin of scales. And we'll get into where all that came from. You know, they had to name it. You know, so I mean, the rudiment of chords, I should say. They had to name it 1, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, I'm in the key of C for all intents and purposes right now. For some of you who are educated to the fact, okay. So we got 1, 3, and 5. All right. Now that's just a regular triad. Now, there's a thing called a minor chord, and they use that in trap music a lot. And all that is the same thing, 1, 3, and 5. But on the 3, you flat it. And when I say flat it, you just bring it down what they call a half step. So I don't know if you can see this from here, but it's E, but we make that E flat. I mean, if we were doing a D chord, it would be D, F sharp, A, and instead of F sharp, we would bring it down to F natural. Better example would be A. Let's see, A would B flat. B flat would be a better. B flat, D, F. The D, we make that flat, and that would be minor. All I'm saying right here is the difference between a major chord, a regular chord, and a minor chord is that the third on the minor chord is down a half step. You do that, whatever. Let's go back to C because it's easier to understand at this point. So 1, 3, 5, 1, flat 3, 5, that's minor, okay? And I think that might be enough to assimilate, if you will, to take in at this time. But I'll keep the camera rolling and keep talking about this now. Alright, so you know that the music that we accept in... let me start all over again and try to run this down just normal. We're dealing with 8 notes basically. I'll say this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's all sorts of stuff in between. But we ain't going to talk about in between right now. You know, sharps and flats and this and that. And it's called the Aeolian scale. And as a matter of fact, I won't even get into why they call it Aeolian, but it had something to do with a civilization way back a long time ago. The Greeks, you know, they decided that this is the scale, all right? People were playing music way before that, and they were getting in between other things, you know. But we'll just pick up on the European value of scales here. It's Aeolian. You can do that all over the keyboard, but right now we'll just deal with the Aeolian scale in the key of C, and I'll actually name the notes, and they're actually all white notes. Yeah. Okay, here we go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.